Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action here live tonight for the fourth round of the season. We are here at Bathurst Mount Panorama for the next round of the GT4 Championship, and I would like to say, obviously, a few words before we get on to tonight. As you'll see, a lot of the drivers tonight have changed their liveries, and we've allowed them to do so because one of our own has sadly passed away. Darren, aka Aaron Myers, 1993 to 2025, has sadly passed away, and it's a massive loss that we have suffered here on the channel, but obviously to the people who are very close to him. I know Tips, was very close, as was NRL Andy as well, and all those guys from the team Piston pundits and the rest of those guys. I just want to say our thoughts and our love goes to not just those guys, but also to Aaron's family and everyone else as well. And just before going live here tonight, I actually found it very difficult not to have a tear out of my eye, because not just obviously the sad passing of Aaron, but also the community and what we have done. As you can see, a lot of the drivers here have decided to get rid of their liveries, and we've united as one to mark respect to one of our own. Ian McGowan running the black and pink. Obviously, Aaron was known for running the black and pink. Matt running the black on his livery with clouding with the pink, as is Hivs. Silt is running the pink stripe. The MSA boys have decided to get rid of their green and change it to pink as well. So it's nice to see all those guys. Kieran O'Reilly changing his orange to the pink. Stardog going pink as well. And as I said, it's hits the community harder than I actually thought it would be, but also unites us as one. And like I said to Aaron, up in heaven, I hope you're enjoying racing in peace, brother. And yeah, to everyone who was close to him, especially his family and friends, we'd like to obviously dedicate this race and the rest of this week's racing here at Bathurst Mount Panorama to those. To him and his family. I hope we do put on a fantastic show for you guys, for them, and let's go racing in memory of Aaron Myers. So, oh god, trying not to get teary again, but yeah, let's see how we get on this evening and go from there. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with them at the minute. But we are live here at Bathurst Mount Panorama for the fourth round of the championship, and let's have a quick look at this fantastic circuit that we are at. One of the most difficult circuits in the world, Mount Panorama, based in Australia. Probably the most challenging circuit in the world out there, followed by the Nordschleife, this Le Mans, Monaco, and the Mount Panorama hosting the 12 Hours of Bathurst, and obviously the Bathurst 1000, known for the supercars as well. So it really is a challenge. This circuit really affects the mind rather than the skill. You really got to make sure you're not in the tunnel vision to make sure you get it right here. The circuit length is 3.8, 6.2 kilometers long, in miles 3.8. Number of corners is 23, 14 to the left, 9 to the right. Pole position will start on the left hand side, and the ACC lap record round here is done in a 1:58.7. The Ford Mustang GT3 holds that record, and the most successful driver around here is myself. And yeah, as just the guys are coming to the end of their session, it is getting to the point of the season where drivers will now start to think a little bit more about their championship and a little bit more about what they need to do to make sure they stay ahead in the championship. And they're getting to the midpoint of the season, so we're starting to get where we're starting to find where drivers are at this stage. I am going to try my very best to commentate on who is where. Obviously, livery is going to be very similar, but we will allow it this evening, obviously. Yeah, we'll try our very best to see who is where. After Bathurst Mount Panorama, obviously on the screen now you do have the calendar. After Bathurst, we then head to the home of British Motorsport. We head to Silverstone, where round 6 will be at Kyalami, and then our first night race is at Imola for round 7. Round 8, we head to Germany at the Nürburgring, while round 9 is our second night race at the Red Bull Ring. Round 10 is Autumn Park, and round 11 is Watkins Glen, where we finish things off at the home of SimPlay Motorsport at Donington Park. And that is a rundown of your championship calendar. I see Remy Fernie ended up leaving the session, coming back in to change his livery. Again, in marks of respect of Myers. And also, if you do want to be a part of the Patreon, here's a Patreon, £3 a month will reserve your race number. Obviously, the one other thing that me and the rest of, well, I say me, it was Mike's idea. The rest of the team have decided to do is that his number will be now retired. So from now on, Aaron Myers' number will never ever be used. It will be respectfully retired, so nobody can use his race number, which will be once I find it, will be the 93. So rest in peace, Myers, and forever your number will never be used. It will be retired. The 93 is now gone. So yeah. So there's the Patreon system, and like I said, the way things work here tonight, we've got the GT4 Championship is a reverse grid order based on the championship standings. Let's have a look at the championship standings. The championship standings actually look like this. It is Tordock leading the way, 16 points ahead of O'Reilly. Will Friedman sat in P3, or P4 is Silth. P5 is Clouden, P6 is Hooper, while in P7 is Fraser O'Brien. McGowan is in 8th, while Hunt is in 9th. Duffin in 10th with Hibbs in 11th. Unsworth in 12th with Ramsell in 13th. Skunky in 14th with Wright in 15th. Carlos in 16th place position. Walgude in 17th. Then we go to Stardog in 19th, Fernie in 20th, Old Sim Racer in 21st, Johnson 22nd, while Taylor is in 23rd. 24th is Rook, while 25th is Cummings. Millington is in 26th. 27th is Aberdeen. Leach 28th. Tipping 29th. Smith 30th. Marsden 31st. Vestley 32nd. Jackal 33rd. 34th is Betterson. Archer 35th. Wheel in 36th. Glarball 37th. And that is the championship. And as you can see on the helicopter cam, leading them the way is our admin team, Matthew Duffin and also John Goudet. A lap of respect to our fellow driver, our fellow comrade, and like I said, this is just moving and beautiful scenes here from the channel, and this is why I love sim racing. This is why we do this. It is beautiful to see. We've all come together to celebrate a driver, and like I said, it is a beautiful touch. Obviously, not all of us know who he was. We didn't get to meet him or anything like that, but it is an absolute lovely touch to see all these guys going up and down the mountain. Probably one of the longest laps as well, but yeah, thank you to all the drivers, to everyone who's done a lap, who's currently going around at the minute. It is absolutely beautiful sights to see here, and yeah. So let's hit that like button, guys. Come on, let's do it for Aaron and his family. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as we as a community have come together to do this, and I really do think that this is a beautiful scenes that we are seeing right now. So thank you to all the GT4 boys. The Pro-Am boys, I'm pretty sure, will do something similar tomorrow night, as will the pros. But yeah, get used to seeing a lot of black and pink, but absolutely beautiful stuff here. All with their hazards on as well. Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Mac in the chat, hello everyone, sounds like you guys lost a friend and a fellow competitor. Didn't know him, but yeah, it's the same. So yes, we didn't know him personally, but he was still a racer. He's still a part of everyone who does sim racing. He's still a part of that community, and he raced here. The 93 Aaron Myers. Who's Aaron? This is for you, buddy, if you're up there watching us. Race in peace, buddy. And yeah, a thank you to all the drivers again. This is just, yeah. Oh God, I'm tearing up again. Oh God. Woo! I'll get my composure back. I'll get it back. Right. Okay, sprint race ahead. So the format, the way this works, the way this will work tonight is obviously they'll be doing a reverse grid race for the first race based on the reverse championship order. I forgot about the heart on the YouTube channel. Please, guys, hit that heart button. Let's show the love for our fellow comrade. It's going to be reverse grid of the championship. So obviously if you're leading the championship, you'd be towards the back of the pack. New drivers instantly go towards the back of the pack anyway, but I believe Klarbel has finally got his wheel fixed, so he is on the grid this evening. So yeah, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And yeah, if you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then please head over to our sim grid and get yourself signed up and a part of the action. Be involved in the Discord. Even though we, have a bit of sniping at one another, and, sometimes, maybe one GT5 knocks into another GT5 and the other one loses the championship, we all still love each other at the end of the day. And let's see a sea of pink. Obviously, remember, you'll be seeing this sea of pink again once again later on in the year, as we'll be doing our special event later on. And this is for Paul Williams. We'll be going and challenging ourselves around the Nordschleife for the bank holiday weekend as we tackle the horrible disease that is cancer, and all of us as a team will be working our way through the Nordschleife and trying to donate as much money as we can to breast cancer. And that's been led by Paul Williams and us admin teams supporting him at the same time. And thanks to Team FBR and obviously SimPlay Motorsport for being a part of all of that, and obviously all of our fantastic sponsors as well. So make sure you tune in for that one later on in the year. But nonetheless, we will now look at the reverse grid order, which will be now up on your screen momentarily. So the reverse grid order will look like this. It should be Marshall and Archer on the front row, with the second row going away with Vesely and Marsden, followed by Smith and Tipping, and then followed by them should be Aberdeen and Millington, with Cummings and Taylor in that P9 and 10 position. Fernie in P11 with Stardog starting in P12. Goudet in 13th and 14th going away of Carlos. 15th will be Wright and Skunky in 16th, with Ramsel and Unsworth sitting in 17th and 18th place position. Then it's Hibbs followed by Duffin for 19th and 20th. Hunter and then McGowan. Hooper and Clouden, the two Chevys together. Stilth and Friedman running alongside one another. O'Reilly and Tordock are rounding off the grid order here tonight, as you got Klarbel and Leach to the back of the pack. And that is your grid order here for Bathurst Mount Panorama. As we get ourselves ready to go here for the sprint race. As we get our drivers ready to go. Hibbs did not make the start, so he'll be starting from pit lane. But it's an Alpine and a Chevy starting on the front row. Benny Archer, he's an actual Aussie himself, and this is his actual choice as a Patreon. He chose Bathurst Mount Panorama, and it's great to see the Australian circuit back here once again, a personal favourite of mine as well. And like I said, it really rewards drivers when you nail it around here. So let's get a poll going on who you think is going to win the first race here tonight. Let's hear from you guys as they get themselves ready for the first race here. Who do we think is going to be the one to beat tonight? That is the question. Who is going to conquer the mountain? Who's going to be king of the hill tonight? That is all going to be on display here tonight. As I've just gone for the top four. If you think it's somebody else, then feel free to put in on who you think is the prediction on winning this one. As they are now coming into the final corner. We're about to get underway here for the first time tonight at Bathurst Mount Panorama. It's warm, it's hot conditions. It is an Alpine versus a Chevy on the front row. We're about to go green for the first time tonight. And we are green and go at Bathurst Mount Panorama as we head down towards turn number one. As they all funnel their way down into that tight turn one section as they all try and maneuver their way through there. A few cars not get going at the start there, but they all managed to survive turn number one relatively well. Duffin in the middle of a bit of a scrap here, but he's had to back out that one, and the Chevy bouncing all over the grass, but he's managing to maneuver his way through. But it is the Chevy of Archer. It is an Australian leading the way ahead of oh, and there goes Marshall. He's gone round. They're all over the shot now. I think Duffin's been involved in that as well. Where is he? No, he's not. It's Ramsel's been in contact. Hooper's been in contact, as has Taylor as well. But major damage to a lot of cars already. Marston as well been involved in this incident, but as they all get themselves going, it is Archer leading the way in the Chevy ahead of Marshall, with tipping in that P4 position as they now update, sorry, P3 position. Oh, and that is Millington into the wall hard as they go up and over the crest now. Skonky's had a very good start here as he's onto the back of a fellow Mercedes driver. That is Stardog, I believe he's behind, as they work themselves down the hill now. Very tight through this section, and oh, that is right. He's had a moment to clip the wall and he's dropped to the back of that pack. And there's cars everywhere. Friedman going a little bit deep as Clouden now goes through, as does Cummins. I think he goes up the inside. But we go back to the front. It is Archer pulling away in front ahead of Marshall, tipping. Then it is Vesely and Millington, but that BMW is very strong in a straight line, should outdo the Aston Martin. Meanwhile, further back, Carlos is on the move. Millington gets onto the grass. Is he going to get it stopped? Yes, he is, and the BMW driver loses out there and goes wide. Around the outside comes Carlos, as does, I believe, the Aberdeen goes around the outside also, so he gets the job done. Skunky also on the move down the inside. The Mercedes looking mighty here, as John Goudet trying to work his way through the order. Archer, though, with a 4.3 second gap already, is extending that gap as much as he... Oh, and the BMW touches the grass, and he goes off and wide into the gravel he goes. But Archer with the clean air and no one to bother him at this stage. He is out in front. Marshall and Tipping, meanwhile, are side by side and going at it for the lead of this race. And into the second corner they go, tipping up the inside, gets the job done. Millington now in fourth, as we got Smith and Carlos and a whole bunch of cars breathing down their neck as they go up towards the top of the hill. And again, they're all managing to negotiate their way, a couple of cars in the pit at this stage. And Duffin in the middle of all this. Last time out we were at Bathurst, he nearly had a clean sweep, but he was very strong in practice, he looked confident. Meanwhile, Tipping pulling away from Marshall here, so the Alpine just struggling, but it is Millington who is the mobile chicane at this stage, with Carlos now up the inside of Smith there, and he's going to try and do it around the outside of the S's. He ain't going to get the job done there, and he has to take the escape route, but he will need to give that position back. He did gain an advantage by going off circuit, but Carlos at this stage choosing not to give the place back. Obviously it's quite tricky to do so down this downhill section. But Smith, meanwhile, is still under pressure. He's under pressure from Aberdeen. Meanwhile, Goudet in the other Chevy is on the back of Skunky, and Skunky is trying to go with Carlos. And Hunt's returned back to the pit, so he's obviously had some form of coming together somewhere. We've got McGowan onto the back of Jamal Clouden, so McGowan's dropped down the order quite a bit there by the looks of things. But Millington now onto the back of Marshall. What other fights have we got going on? Further back we've got Tordock and Hooper, who've got the significant damage. Friedman's at the back of him as well, so Friedman carrying a bit of damage. Hunt's returned back to the pits. There is Taylor carrying damage. Fernie's returned to the pits, and Cummins has got major damage as well. Wright has come back out. And there is Marston, and they head over the crest down towards turn number 1 they go. The pit window has opened, so Cummins happily gets that pit window open. Meanwhile, Duffin says fastest lap of the race, but it's Archer leading the way. And here comes Millington now on the attack of Marshall. He's going to go down the inside of turn number 1, and Carlos also looking to possibly go up the inside, but not quite close enough this time round. He's looking left, he's looking right, he's not quite far enough up the inside of the Alpine, and Marshall just hangs in there a little bit longer. Over the top of the mountain we go. Duffin, meanwhile, absolutely flying. He's already cleared Stardog. Oh, and I think Goudet's just rubbed the wall there. And Chris in the chat says, love Bathurst, come on, Matt, and we're on board with him, Matt. And he is working his way through the order. He's done Stardog, he's now onto the back of Skunky, but he's got O'Reilly and Goudet in front of him, all being held up by Smith, as Carlos has now cleared Marshall, and he's now onto the back of Millington. While this is all going on, Archer is pulling away. Oh, Marshall with big damage there, hitting the wall quite hard. He's got quite a hefty whack to the front of that Alpine. And there you see them splitting the Alpine, the Aston and the Chevy going either way. And that Alpine's just getting mugged. Here comes the McLaren, even mightier in the straight line, in the slipstream of Goudet as they head towards the kink, and they all manage to get through there, but Skunky's ended up on the grass. He's manages to hook it up, and around the outside goes Duffin, and he gets the job done, but there's Smith, and Matt now goes wide. With this all happening, Matt is going to have to either choose to pit or carry on, and he's choosing to pit. O'Reilly's in. And Skunky's gone deep. Skunky's gone very deep, and he's ended up in the wall. As now John Goudet says fastest lap of the race there. So as you can see there, Archer leading the way ahead of Tipping, ahead of Millington, and ahead of Carlos. Hibbs now says fastest lap of the race. Goudet in that P5 position with Marshall in P6. The Janetta of, I think that's Aberdeen pulling over Smith. Then O'Reilly, Stardog. Skunky has managed to get himself going again. Aberdeen's pulled over to the side as Clarble comes up the hill. Ahead of Hibbs, ahead of Stilth. And then we've got Friedman and Tordock. As McGowan, the first one to pit, he is ahead of Marston, who's got possibly damage to his car. Taylor's back out on track as well. But that is your running order at this minute. But Carlos looking to make a move on Millington. He's going to try and go around the outside, going up the hill. And that'd be brave to do it there. Ain't going to happen there. And while this is all happening, this is just allowing Archer to pull away and lead this race at his home circuit. And Goudet trying to count down the corners and hunt down these two. And Skunky there just ahead of Clavel. And then you got this guy, got a car, Smith and Marshall, Hibbs, Silth, all going over the crest of the hill. Oh, Marshall's gone off again. And that's allowed Hibbs to Silth through, but Silth's hit the wall. Big damage to the front of Janetta. He's trying to get it going again, but it's going to be tricky to get round. But Archer, meanwhile, way out in front. Comfortable gap ahead of Tipping. Now Millington and Carlos are going side by side. Who's got the biggest kahunas? Millington's going to try and hold it strong on the outside. He does, and he tries to break later than Carlos, but Carlos can't find a way through, and Millington holds on to the position. Archer choosing to carry on through as Millington comes in, and Carlos finally gets the free air that he wants. Goudet has gone in with him. And Stardog continues on through. Skunky's in, as is Clavel. Meanwhile, where did Duffin finish and all that? Duffin is now right behind O'Reilly. So this is a close fight between these two. And right now, Duffin looking for any opportunity to try and get past that McLaren. McLaren, though, mighty in a straight line. And I think Duffin is going to struggle to out-drag that McLaren. Just behind them, though, is Jamal Clouden, so he has gone with these two. And we'll see where these guys all fan out by the end of the pit stops. Meanwhile, Friedman is still ahead of Tordok. And Carlos is now going to try and chase Tipping down as quickly as he possibly can. The rest of these gaps are all spread out as Duffin is now right underneath the back of O'Reilly, and O'Reilly looking like he's had a little moment there. Duffin looking to the inside of turn number one. He goes up the inside. They're going to come out with Millington, and Millington, oh, they're three abreast. Millington, Duffin and O'Reilly, but O'Reilly should have the advantage. The McLaren much faster straight up, but he's yielded, I think. O'Reilly back into the slipstream. He looks up the inside of turn number two, and Millington losing out there, and O'Reilly thinking about it constantly about going up the inside, but can't do anything about it. That Mercedes-Benz very mighty around here, especially with no kilos on board, really allows Matthew Duffin to attack the corners. So Millington was fighting Carlos, and that is what has happened there. So Duffin possibly into a podium position here. Meanwhile, Archer still leads the way. But we see here, Carlos has already cleared Tipping. And Carlos has now cleared Tipping. Lexi in the chat, Marshall, saying that went expected for me. So she's struggling with this circuit here tonight. And Tipping now chooses to pit. So Archer also into the pit as well. So Carlos now using the clean air to his advantage. He will have to go one more lap, and next lap he will have to pit. But it is Duffin who is leading the pitters at the minute. And O'Reilly's just dropped off the back of him. Millington's not too far behind them. But Duffin, a great jump in the pits. As they head down the chase. Archer, though, is in the pits. He needs to make sure he gets his stop done. Of all the places, then he wants to make sure that he nails the pit stop. It is here at his home race. Oh, Millington's gone wide, and Clouden will gain that position. Duffin now into the final corner. Has Archer got going? Not yet. So Archer has now gone green. Now it depends how far down the straight he is. I think Duffin's got him. They're going into turn number one. Yeah, they have. So Duffin and O'Reilly now lead this race. So what a pit stop from those two. They are now leading this race as Archer has lost out massively in that. And Tipping has stopped, but has not done his drive. He has not done his mandatory stop. Meanwhile, Will Friedman gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So is Carlos now in the prime seat now. He's had that clean air. Yeah, Lexi, it was a good go. It's probably one of the more difficult circuits, though, so you'll be okay. The first one's done and out of the way now, but we'll move on to the next race. But heading down the straight comes Carlos. And towards the chicane he goes. Duffin, meanwhile, has pulled away from O'Reilly. There's a queue behind Archer. Best of the Chevys. There's a Chevy brawl. You got Archer, Clouden and Goudet all going at it. And they're all just flirting with that curb at the minute. But Jamal Clouden trying to find an opportunity to get past the Chevy. Nowhere through there at the minute. Carlos now pits as they head down the back straight called the chase, and Goudet is going to be chasing as much as he possibly can. Up towards the last part of the chase. Is Archer just going to get his brakes done on time? Yes, he is. He goes deep, though, goes wide, and he slides and ends up in front of Clouden and Goudet. They both gain the position, but they'll lose out overall. Is Jamal? No, I thought for a minute Jamal was coming into the pits. Archer, though, was leading this race quite comfortably for a while. Duffin, meanwhile, coming up towards turn number 1 as Carlos has now been released. So Duffin going for a race win here. But he's got to chase Carlos down. Hibbs has gone green, and where is he coming out of the pits?
The window is closing down.
I haven't seen him yet. That's up the main straight, there you go. There we see Millington and Stardog going side by side. And Stardog's going to get it up the inside, get the job done and turn in. And Millington loses out. Skunky, meanwhile, dropping back. And up towards the hill they go. Carlos, meanwhile, under some pressure from the Mercedes-Benz of Duffin. And a good evening in the chat. Chris Rook in the chat. Evening all. Sorry to hear about the loss of Aaron. Yep, it is a massive shame, but nonetheless, we are racing in his memory, in his honour. And at the minute, we've had a dramatic race so far at Bathurst Mount Panorama. O'Reilly's just dropped off the back of Duffin, has no pace for him. As we see there, Goudet just struggling as Stardog gets onto the back of him. Oh, Millington's at a moment. He's trying to get out of the way as best he possibly can and manages to do so. As they all head down the hill, and already fatigue is probably starting to kick in. Only a 20-minute race, but this mountain really does get in your head. And Hibbs there under pressure from Hooper, who's right on the rear wing. But has got severe damage to the front end of the car. And I don't think there's a car without a clean bumper or a clean bonnet. As we see now, Duffin is onto the back of Carlos. Into the final corner they go. Oh, Duffin has a slide there. But the longer and longer he gets held up here, the more and more O'Reilly can come back into the frame. So that's your battle for the lead. Goudet has pulled away from Clouden has pulled away from Goudet, and Stardog is in P6 trying to find a way through. We still got Hooper still trying to find a way past Hibbs. Hibbs doing a good job keeping him behind. Friedman is now in to do his stop and go as Tordok really seems to be struggling here at Bathurst, and currently in 12th place position, with Skunky with more damage to the front of his car, with Vesely sat in P14. That is Millington. No, sorry, Ramsel, I think. That is Ramsel in between them, who's a couple of laps down. Archer in 15th. Tipping is in 17th, and he's being chased by McGowan. McGowan's got fastest lap of the race with Smith, Taylor, Silth, Wright, Cummings, Ramsell, Hunt, Fernie, and Marshall at the back of the pack. Who else is in the pits? Oh, there is Marshall at the back. I don't know who has left the session. Somebody has left the session. Will we go back to your top two? Not much has changed here. Duffin, if anything's lost a little bit of time here, as Friedman has now cleared his stop and go. And Goudet still under some pressure from the Mercedes-Benz of Stardog. And the Mercedes-Benz definitely looking the strongest car in the GT4 class. As Duffin is literally pushing Carlos as they head towards the kink. Duffin pressing the brakes there to make sure he gets the car stable and stopped. He's going to go around the outside of Carlos and he gets the job done. Matthew Duffin now leads the sprint race after starting mid-pack. He is now leading this race, and Duffin has still not yet to win a race in the GT4s. He took a bit of curb there, which will unsettle him ever so slightly, but he now starts the final lap of this race and he's bringing O'Reilly with him. Meanwhile, Stardog still trying to find a way around Goudet, but he can't seem to find it going up towards turn number 1. And Hooper just dropped off the back of Hibbs there and lost a little bit of momentum there. Tordok is onto the back of Millington. Oh, let me see here, Skunky trying to stay out of the way. He's got more damage to the car, and Aberdeen has gone through, as has McGowan, and I think Hunt as well. Hunter lap down, sorry. But McGowan there, trying to clear the traffic as best he can. But Duffin, at the minute, still leading this race. As long as he doesn't hit any walls or cause any damage, he should be able to keep that under control. No real close fights at the minute. It is this fight of McGowan and Aberdeen. But Hunt's in the middle of that. And I think Stardog has not been able to attack Goudet, but we go back to Carlos and he's got right back on the rear wing of Duffin, but I think it's going to become too little use because they come down towards the Forest elbow. They get a good exit. Duffin has already pulled away as they hit the main straight. But down towards the chase they come. Duffin, starting mid-pack, has worked his way forwards and using that Mercedes grunt and power is very dominant here at Bathurst. Matthew Duffin, for the first race tonight, for the sprint race, is going to come into the final corner. He hasn't won in a very long time. Matthew Duffin wins at Bathurst. Congratulations to Carlos in second. Third goes the way of O'Reilly. Fourth is going to go away of Jamal Clouden. Fifth is going to go the way of Stardog. He gets Goudet at the end there in P6. Hibbs in P7. Hooper in P8. As Clarble is going to come home for that 9th place position. While Millington is going to round off the top 10. Just behind him is his teammate Ramsell. So Millington rounds off the top 10. Vesely is going to finish at 11th ahead of Tordok. Well, Tordok's had some damage. So Tordok may drop back even further, but Vesely finishing in that 11th place position. Archer is going to finish 12th then. So he finishes in 12th place position. And I think McGowan is then going to get that 13th place position. And I don't think Tordok can turn, so Tordok's going to lose another place to Aberdeen this time. And Aberdeen will take 14th ahead of Tordok. Tipping is going to finish in 16th. While Skunky is going to finish in that 17th place position. No, he's not, because Friedman's got him. Friedman into 17th. 18th is Skunky. 19th is going to be Smith. Across the line he goes. Taylor in 20th. 21st will be Silth. Cummings is 22nd. Ramsell 23rd. Wright 24th. Hunt is going to finish 25th. And Fernie 26th. Marshall in the end finished 27th. And Marston in the end 28th position. That was your sprint race, and it was Duffin who was your race winner ahead of Carlos, ahead of O'Reilly. We'll be back in a few moments' time as we will have the final qualifying session of the night, which will only be 5 minutes, and then the feature race straight after that. We'll see you in a few moments' time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport as we get ourselves underway to the qualifying session, and Matthew Duffin has got himself out on track straight away. And up the hill they go. Qualifying session is now underway. And after that, this is what the championship standings now looks like. O'Reilly managing to survive that way through the hill has managed to put him top of the table as he leads the way with 13 points ahead of Tordok. Third in the championship is now Jamal Clouden, while fourth is Friedman, fifth is Stilt, and in sixth is Hupert. I don't know why I have to think that Hupert is in sixth place position. Duffin after that has got himself into the top 10, and he's now in seventh place with Carlos in eighth. Ninth is Hibbs, 10th is McGowan, while 11th is O'Brien. Goudet is in 12th, while Hunter's in 13th. Stardog is in 14th with Ramsell in 15th. 16th is Skunky with Onsworth 17th. 18th Wright with 19th Millington. 20th is Taylor. 21st is Aberdeen with Fernie in 22nd. 24th is Old Sim Racer, while 25th is Cummings, 26th is Tipping with Johnson 27th, 28th is Vesely with Rook in 29th, Smith in 30th, 31st is Leach, Marston 32nd, Archer 33rd, Klabel in 34th, while Jackal 35th, Besson 36th, and 37th is Wheel, and Marshall in 39th position will go on board with Duffin. Regarding the teams championships, it is MSA leading the way ahead of Unknown Racing, Greasy Bandits Racing, Old School Racers, Quantum Motorsport, Cam Racing, SimPlay Racing, Piston Pumpers, Team Tom, Blunt Force Racing, Piston Pounders, Roadrunner Motorsports, Audio Sport, RB GT Team, Old Git Racing, and Star Wolf Racing with Lex Industries at the back. Matthew Duffin now attacks turn number 1 as he heads up to the climb of the long straight of the second straight, heading up towards turn number 2. Over the crest we go. It's a long straight for a slow car. This seems like an eternity as you head up towards the 50-meter board. Just at that point we brake and go down 2 gears, get on the power as soon as you can through turn 2, push the limits as far as you dare and get as close as the wall as you dare into then the tricky section, into a double apex left-hander, get the front end tucked in, get on the power as soon as you possibly can to get the climb up the hill as fast as you can. Confidence now, you need to be brave, turn in, get as close to the wall as you dare, into the right-hander, into the left, keep your foot pinned to the ground, these GT4s maybe lifting a bit as they head into the left-hander, again get as daring to the wall as you can, into the crest over towards Skyline, and then heading down towards the dipper. Brake as straight as you can, get the car dropping down the gears, barely want to touch the throttle here, just let the car roll down into the dip, get the front turned in to then tweak it into the right-hander, swoop into the left and then swing it over to the right into the horrible Forest Arrow, braking down, get the front to turn in, get on the power, get a good exit as you then work your way all the way down towards the chase. With a good exit out of Forest Elbow, you should be able to get a lovely slipstream if one of the cars behind, I believe that is Silt, it is in the slipstream of Duffin. But you get a good run through the chase, head down towards the kink. Swoop it in over to the right, stay as far right as you can, and brake just before the 100-meter board, get it dropped down to second gear. Try not to clobber the curve too much on the inside, get a good exit through the right-hander, and then head down towards the final corner. You've negotiated the mountain, you've done it all, and you can still get it wrong right here and brake just past the board and get the front to turn in, get a good exit, and that should give you a lap time of a 2-minute 12.5. 6/10 off the pace is Silth. He crosses the line. Tordok now comes towards the line. He's 2 seconds off the pace as McGowan goes within 0.05 of a second. Who is that just behind him? That looks like Skunky. We got Fernie now coming to the line. No lap time from him. Smith now sets a lap time. Archer goes up into P6 with O'Reilly. Only P5. Skunky did set a lap time. It was P4. Vestley comes across the line. P9. These guys need to get a lap time on the board. Klarball crosses the line. That is P12 for him. And that was also Goudet. So the rest of these cars crossing the line now. That is it for their qualifying. Clouden won't be able to get another lap in. He goes P4, but it's a decent lap in nonetheless. And Hunt goes 12th. So these guys are done for qualifying. Hibbs is now done. He crosses that position 6th. Friedman goes into 9th place position. Who's next to come to the line? We got Fernie, who still hasn't set a lap time. We got Ramsell coming into the final section. Millington's on a lap as well. We'll keep an eye on Ramsell. Where is Ramsell? There he is, out the final corner. He comes, and Ramsell goes 13th. Next to come to the line is Stardog, but he's messed it up and he's gone off. Next car to the line is Millington. And then we go back to your fastest drivers, and at the minute it is Duffin who's on provisional pole. Can anybody take that away from him as Millington comes into the final sector? Get the front turn in, get a good exit. Jackal has now joined the server. Struggles to make the first race, but he's always able to make the second, which is nice to see. But Jackal only goes 15th for that lap time, but Millington, where does this put him? He goes 15th, and we now go back to the man who's at the front, who's leading at the minute. He's on provisional pole. Duffin comes towards the final corner here. Can he take pole position? Can he extend the gap? He's probably gone a little bit too deep in the final corner. Towards the line he goes. Does he extend the gap? He finds another 10. McGowan, though, trying to hunt him down. Sylth only gets with 600, and McGowan will not improve. Skunky, though, looks like he is on a lap. To the line he comes. Tordok does not improve. Skunky does improve, but only goes 9/10. Goude's made a mistake. He's off. Cummings is off as well. Any other lap times coming to the line? We've got Fernie coming to the line. He only goes 21st, but it is a lap time on the board nonetheless. Cummings in the final corner as Clarball goes at 11th. Where does Cummings go? It only 9th for him in the end. But it is Matthew Duffin taking pole position here at Bathurst Mount Panorama for a man who absolutely detests this circuit. He's on pole position here. But he's got the very fast McGowan, Sylth and Skunky all behind him. Cloud in there as well. All the Mercedes-Benz looking very strong. I think pretty much every Mercedes-Benz bar Stardog is up in the top. Yeah, the top 6 at the minute. So Mercedes-Benz very, very strong here. So reminder, guys, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And if you do want to be a part of the action, then head over to our sim grid and get yourself signed up. Let's say get yourself signed up if you want to be a part of the action and interacting with us in the Discord as well. That's it. Make sure you be a part of the action. Hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss any of the action here tonight as we get ourselves underway for the 4th feature race of the season. And it is now going to be a long night's worth of racing for these guys. 45-minute feature race, 15 minutes shorter than the GT3s. And let's have a look as well at our fantastic sponsors. Have a look at Design Manchester and Audio Sport. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, clothing and much, much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk and their Facebook link in the link below. Also, our description also shows our Facebook page, our Facebook group, Instagram, Discord, and also our Twitter as well. So get involved in all of them. Drivers now pulling away as we are about to get underway here for the second time tonight. It is Mercedes versus Mercedes on the front row. McGowan versus Duffin. But really, it's the mountain versus the rest of them. Let's get a poll going on who you think is going to win this one. If you are a part of the Discord and you do want to help the channel out as much as we possibly can, then feel free to be a Patreon. £3 a month will allow you access to Patreon services that other drivers will not get. like reserve your race number, have your stream automatically broadcasted in the Discord. And like I said, do all those wonderful things to be a part of the channel. And let's not forget as well, coming up on the bank holiday weekend in May, it's our charity event. 24 hours of the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, as we support FBR and mainly Paul Williams in their fight against cancer. Together we will stop this horrible disease, and us as driver will challenge ourselves around the green hell and try our very best to put on a great show there. So make sure you get involved in that one. And just as the drivers are